I'd love to start with kind of y'all's connection, how long y'all been working together, and kind of y'all's history in making films, and maybe the spark of where this initial idea for this came from.
Ron and I met 11 years ago at a festival similar to this, at the Ashland Film Festival, which is why we're really grateful to be at the Women Texas Film Festival, because you never know who you're going to meet at these festivals and who you're going to end up working with. And this has been a great festival so far. 11 years ago.
Yeah. I had a feature film that was playing there, and so did Tanna, and we basically, our paths crossed, and some months later, Tanna called me up and said, "What are you doing?" She was working with Henry Jaglom, and she said, "We're very interested in having you come on and do something for the project." We did, and then we fast became co-collaborators, and the three of us as well were collaborators for a long time through many films, and that was years ago. That's how we met and the entranceway into this project.
One thing I love about it, we kind of talked about on the red carpet, small town feel. Mm-hmm. Where did you guys shoot, and some of the location choices? Because I think that's one of the other hidden characters of the film, is where you guys shot.
Thank you for asking that. Yeah, I'm originally from Iowa. Mm-hmm. I've been in Los Angeles now for 20 years. But what I was noticing when I first moved out to Iowa is how overlooked some of these middle states are, and how many wonderful actors, how many wonderful locations from growing up there can be utilized within the states. And I saw a lot of what would happen a lot with films that would come in from Los Angeles or the East Coast, is that they would bring in A-list actors and then cast a lot of not even local film crew, maybe some local film crew, but usually also use locals as the extras. Like, I remember seeing one of my friends' forehead in Twister, and he was like, "I'm in the movie, I made it," and I was like, you're a brilliant actor. You could have been like, but so I wanted to do something which really cultivated and showed the filming incentives in Iowa, as being an Iowa-phile and being from that state. And so we filmed in Garner and Forest City on family farms, my grandparents' farm. We filmed with a lot of locals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just want to add, this was definitely a love letter to where Tanna grew up, Mason City and the environs. And we had the total support of the community and her family and extended family, which made the whole process just that much more fabulous. It was really great. And I believe what you're saying in terms of that second character, the third character that comes through, is very much a product of that.
I didn't realize it was a family property. There's another connection, another layer to it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I'd love to know then, getting into this character, there's so many dimensions. How difficult was it to touch upon the different emotions you had to go to? Because like we talked about, you run the gamut. This isn't just an easy project. It isn't just something an actress can come in and tackle. This is, you have to go everywhere with this.
Yeah, the topic of mental health has been something that I wanted to tackle through artistic means. Since I was a kid, my mom was a nursing professor in the psych in psych, and had 2 master's degrees. And my father was a pharmacist and handed out designed a program for med sets for the North Iowan mentally ill, so that people could stay on their med sets and it helped to keep people regularly, without forgetting doses and and then they also developed a program called the Transition Center, in which they would take more of the severely mentally ill, get them therapy, get them housing, get them jobs, and get them integrated back into society, which, when I think about what an amazing program that is, and how we could use a lot of programs like that in the rest of the country, it was just something that was very near and dear to my heart, and was to me as a kid growing up around a lot of the mentally ill community just a different way of looking at life, that I wasn't really privy to stigmatizing those thought patterns. Everybody was just a human, to me, and I wasn't sort of segregated from housing units and having a lot of these people in my life, and that was a really special for me growing up, that I didn't have that opportunity to have other people say, oh, we're not going to move in next to the crazies, or it was just more human beings for me. And so then growing up and becoming more aware of what other people thought and seeing more of the mentally ill and becoming aware of their shame associated with their condition, working in my dad's pharmacy, seeing people come in and say, I want to go off my meds, I'm fighting with my daughter, and she thinks less of me, or this new medication is making my mouth dry, and the difficulty of not only having a condition and trying to treat it yourself and become your own advocate while you're dealing with the condition, but the shame associated with it, because it's not something like diabetes, it's not something like cancer where it's something tangible, it's something that is more ephemeral and not necessarily embraced by society. I wanted to do something with a film that made the audience look at that and look at themselves, because there are 56 million Americans who have a mental health disorder, or a mental health issue, I should say. And I wanted people to say, hey, I had that. I had postpartum. I had anxiety in high school growing up. I had, and be able to talk about it with each other versus feeling the shame of hiding that. Sorry, that
was an answer.
That was.
I think your question was, how did you prepare for that?
Oh,
and
yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it was
Your
great.
whole life.
Yeah.
I just think that from the directing side and watching Tanna embrace this character and take it to the place that was extremely powerful and resonant in ways that I've never seen on screen. She has an extraordinary gift to be able to assimilate and take chances with her instrument. And, there's times that I just can't explain to you how she got to the place that she did. We both knew that it wasn't going a certain way and it needed to go to that place. And she'd get herself there. And it was as frightening as it was exhilarating, because she was doing it for the story. It was all in service to the story, but it was arresting to watch at times. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that answers your question, but she has a great gift.
Well, thank you. And Ron was, I would say, very dedicated to playing very delicately, playing the situation and the condition, because with a lot of mental health. With the mental health issue, there's a big area in which you can go. There's a lot of indulgence that you could probably take advantage of, and Ron remained and directed very true to being this, to me, being in the situation, and there's just
it's just, we're trying to basically, I always say, take the shame out of a condition, whatever that is. That was the thing that I held on to in making the film, and bringing compassion and a sense of honesty in every moment that we could. I definitely suffer and have suffered from extreme anxiety my whole life, and you find a way to. I'm lucky to be able to find a way to make that fuel for myself instead of letting it debilitate me. We've made a film that does not penetrate the where am I going with this? It doesn't. I'm sorry, I lost it. Sorry about that.
Well, I would love to know, with the title.
Yeah.
Was that always the title you had?
No.
There's obviously a lot of meanings with especially the word two. Can you talk to me a bit about picking that as the title?
Sure. You want to start?
No.
Want me to start?
Yeah.
The film was it was really originally called The Farm. It was going to Iowa, but Two Ways Home was the title. I think Tanna came up with the title, and it fit because the Two Ways Home. I mean, there's many ways home in this film, but the Two Ways Home was definitely Kathy's way home to reconciling with her daughter and finding a way to embrace her self-esteem and become the person that she is, and also Walter's journey, going home in all the ways that Walter goes home in this film, and their connection and how she's the person who empowers that to happen. Those are the two ways home for me.
That's
It's like 20 ways home.
Yeah, but that was really cool about coming up with Two Ways Home as well, is because also I think in a lot of towns or states in Texas and in Missouri and Iowa, you're also looking at, and in the farming community, you're looking at like an intergenerational aspect that plays out when you're looking at lives and passing and close families and family structures, and you're looking at passing, the farm down from one generation to a 12-year-old, hopefully, and from my character to Tom Bauer's character, the grandfather, and also dealing with not only my character's bipolar disorder, but Tom Bauer's touching on in this PTSD, which so many vets deal with. My grandfather, who I loosely the character was loosely based on, was in World War II, and there's all these vets that returned home who were taken out as, 17, 18-year-old boys on the farm and he was put into, a plane, and he was a gunman, and then got shipped back after World War II and had all of this PTSD, depression. He had seen so much, and again, there's great veteran programs in the last 2 years, but before that, you're dealing with a whole another age group bracket there with mental health and depression with elders and the veterans as well. So we didn't want to be all exclusive with one age bracket, but also with the age bracket that Tom Bauer is representing, who did a beautiful job in the film.
Tom's performance is powerful. The girl that plays your daughter, I think, is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about that generational side of it? I think that's obviously the future generation, but I was amazed at how much her character really gets to showcase her own view of things, and I was really pleased to see that. She's not just the daughter; she's much more.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Let me answer the first part of that, and then you can go to the second part. I was very conscious of, and I believe that we've accelerated culture to the point where the stress, the cultural stress, the stress of every day, just is bringing to the surface it's amplifying. Anxiety and depression and just basic mental health. It really presses it very, very hard. And for me, that was what I was trying to put through Corey's angle on this. Mm-hmm. Of course, all through the point of feeling as an estranged daughter to a mother who has a serious health issue. And that's where I felt that generation and where we are today. That was the expression of that through Corey's character. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I think you did an amazing job with that too, with your relationship with your own daughter, and especially with that generation. Also, I think playing the parent so often, the parent adult role, the adult child roles have somewhat been reversed as a Generation Xer, like there's and with the onset of social media and what they're having to deal with and take on, and it's a sort of an interesting study, but that was a beautiful relationship that you directed.
Okay. Well, Guys, I was blown away by the movie. Thank you for bringing it to Women Texas Film Festival. It's
Thank you for having us.
Something I know they were excited to showcase, this
Cool.
battle of, like you said, mental disorder, but also family dynamics in
Yeah.
small town.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for the interview. We appreciate it, and we appreciate Women Texas Film Festival. Yay!